From locker room fights in championship seasons to brawls that shut down entire arenas, the 2000s wasn't just about basketball, they were pure chaos. This was the decade where Shaq and Kobe couldn't stand each other but still won 3 straight rings, where the NBA's most intense rivalry ended with fans throwing punches instead of cheers. This was the rise of new kings, the fall of old legends, and scandals so wild they shook the league to its core. So buckle up, this is the story of the 2000s NBA, the decade of drama, dominance, and total madness.
Carter. Oh, what a play! Outside Allen for 3.
Chapter 1, 2000, the Shaq and Kobe takeover, and the year of friction.
Wild shot, but Shaq is...
Kobe. Oh, gets it 2.
The 1999-2000 season started like a reset button for the NBA.
Here's Nowitzki for the win! Got it!
The league was desperately searching for its next great face. They didn't have to wait long. The Lakers came into the season with Phil Jackson, the Zen master, on the bench, Shaquille O'Neal in his prime, and a 21-year-old Kobe Bryant hungry to prove he was more than just Shaq's sidekick. And from opening night, it was clear they were different.
Join me in congratulating Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal as the co-MVPs.
Shaq dominated like a video game cheat code. 29.7 points, 13.6 rebounds, and an MVP season that looked almost effortless.
Wild shot, but Shaq is there.
Kobe became an all-star starter, showing flashes of the killer mentality that would define his career. The Lakers bulldozed the regular season at 67-15. But here's the thing. Behind the wins, the friction was already there. Shaq joked publicly that Kobe needed to pass more. Kobe fired back that Shaq needed to get in better shape. It was the start of a slow burn that would later explode. But despite their differences, in the playoffs, they were a gauntlet. In the West Finals, the Lakers nearly blew a 3-1 lead to the Portland Trail Blazers. Game 7 was pure Hollywood.
Stoudemire, and this time he makes...
The Blazers were up 15 in the fourth, then they missed 13 straight shots. Kobe took over, dropping dimes and hitting shots.
I felt like everybody had written me off after those air balls.
My brain cannot process failure.
And then that alley-oop to Shaq sealed it. In the finals, the Lakers took down Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers in Game 6. Shaq was finals MVP, averaging 38 points and 16 boards, one of the most dominant performances in history.
Fox tries it again. O'Neal once again.
Guys, right here, got me. Right here, boys. Right here.
But 2000 wasn't all rings and parades. It was also the year of the malice before the palace. In March, a fight between the Knicks, sparked by Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning's long-standing hatred, spilled into a near riot.
Oh, now he's gonna take him to...
And in the playoffs, tempers boiled again between the Pacers and Knicks, showing that the physical 90s energy hadn't fully died. Off the court, the NBA also had its shadows. 2000 saw Allen Iverson fined multiple times for clashing with coaches and the media.
You're not gonna do it. What? Crowd down. Yeah, just speak for here.
Foreshadowing his feud with Larry Brown. In August, the league faced one of its darkest headlines. The Minnesota Timberwolves were stripped of draft picks for secretly making a deal with Joe Smith, one of the biggest contract scandals in NBA history. By the time the year ended, the NBA had its new dynasty in the Lakers, a brewing civil war between its 2 biggest stars, and enough drama to make it clear. The 2000s weren't gonna be clean. They were gonna be messy. And it was just getting started. But if 2000 was the year the Lakers announced themselves, 2001 was the year they ruled with a steel fist.
Dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer, banks it in! He banks in the 3!
Even if the empire was already starting to crack from the inside. Chapter 2, 2001, The Iverson Show, The Shaq-Kobe Cold War, and the East's Last Stand. The season started with Shaq and Kobe not seeing eye to eye. Shaq thought Kobe was playing too much hero ball. Kobe thought Shaq wasn't working hard enough in the offseason. Teammates could feel the tension, and even Phil Jackson later admitted that he had to referee between them almost daily. But tension or not, the Lakers still bulldozed their way to 56 wins.
Kobe's with the ball. It's another catch. Perfect catch from Kobe Bryant. Great execution.
You know, there's never anything quite like the first NBA championship. Back-to-back.
Although surprisingly, they weren't the only story, because this was Allen Iverson's year.
The biggest problem for all these players is learning how to Allen Iverson board for the easy.
Iverson down the lane, scooped it in.
Al was at the peak of his powers, MVP of the league, averaging 31.1 points per game at just 6 feet tall on a good day. He was fearless, unguardable, and the face of a culture shift in the NBA. The braids, the tattoo, the swagger, Iverson was a walking icon, and the Sixers fed off his energy.
To shoot for Iverson. Yes! That was for three. Iverson with the steal. Goes inside.
By spring, the playoff stage was set, and the Lakers turned into a completely different animal. They ripped through the Western Conference undefeated. 11-0, Spurs, Blazers, Kings all gone. Shaq averaged a monstrous 30 and 15, Kobe averaged 29 to 7 to 6. They were unstoppable. On the other side, Iverson was dragging a Sixers team that had no business in the finals. They had defense, they had grit, but offensively, it was AI or nothing. In the Eastern Conference Finals, Iverson fought through injuries to beat Milwaukee Bucks in 7 games, a win so physical, it looked like a boxing match. The finals matchup felt like a David versus Goliath. Iverson versus Shaq and Kobe, no one gave Philly a chance until Game 1. In one of the most famous finals moments ever, Iverson dropped 48 points in LA, hit a dagger over Tyronn Lue, and stepped over him like he owned the Staples Center. But that was the only win Philly got. The Lakers won the next 4 games.
Here's Fox. Yes.
Shaq was Finals MVP again, and the dynasty rolled on.
On the play of the Sixers, Shaq again getting checked in, coming out.
Still, 2001 wasn't just Lakers and Sixers. This year also gave us Vince Carter putting on one of the greatest dunks in the history of the All-Star game. Then controversially attending his UNC graduation the morning of Game 7 in the playoffs and missing the potential game winner against Philly. In the same year, Latrell Sprewell was being sued for $200 million by his own agent, and the league introduced the new defensive 3-second rule, quietly ending the pure isolation era and forcing teams to adapt. By the time the confetti fell in LA, the Lakers looked unstoppable.
Dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer, banks it in! He banks in to Kobe Bryant! Bryant inside, it's good! It's good!
Iverson was immortalized, and the East, well, that was the last time they'd sniff a title for a long time. Chapter 3, 2002, the year the Kings got robbed. By the time the 2001-2002 season tipped off, something strange was happening in the NBA. The best team in the West wasn't wearing purple and gold, it was wearing purple and black. The Sacramento Kings. Yeah, the King had somehow become the most exciting show in basketball. Chris Webber was an MVP candidate. Peja Stojakovic was a sniper from hell.
Never know where the adventure's going to be. Oh! Webber's got to run. Oh, Iverson, put it in.
Mike Bibby had ice water in his veins, and Vlade Divac was flopping his way into offensive fouls like an artist.
Defensive end, but this is the kind of game will lead the Sacramento break. Pulls up for 3.
They were the definition of team basketball, fast, flashy, and flat-out beautiful to watch. Meanwhile, the Lakers were still the Lakers, but a little dinged up.
Kobe Bryant. Kobe taking advantage. That was a great shot by Kobe Bryant.
Shaq started the season recovering from toe surgery, Kobe had to shoulder more of the scoring load, and they didn't quite look invincible. Still, everybody knew if you wanted the throne, you had to take it from the champs. And man, Sacramento was ready to try. The regular season had its own circus. Michael Jordan, now 38 years old, came out of retirement again to play for the Wizards. He wasn't flying like he used to, but he still dropped 20 a night and sold out every arena he touched. Allen Iverson gave us the single greatest press conference in NBA history with his "We talking about practice" rant.
When you just talk about practice, we sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
And in the All-Star game, Kobe Bryant won MVP in his hometown of Philly.
Was the 2002 MVP, Kobe Bryant.
And got booed mercilessly for it. But the real show was in the playoffs. Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus Kings. Dynasty versus Destiny. Game 1, Lakers steal one in Sacramento. Game 2, Kings punch back. Game 3, Kings blow the doors off at Staples Center. Game 4, Robert Horry rips Sacramento's heart out. Last play of the game, Lakers down 2. Kobe misses, Shaq gets blocked. Divac tries to tap the rebound away from the basket, and it bounces perfectly to Horry, standing wide open at the top of the arc. Swish! Game over. Series tied. You could almost hear the Kings thinking, wait, this isn't fair. But nothing, and I mean nothing, was as unfair as Game 6. The Lakers were down 3-2 in the series, and the referees, well, let's just say they decided to get involved. The Kings got called for 27 fouls in the second half alone. Every touch on Shaq was a whistle. Mike Bibby caught an elbow from Kobe so hard it gave him a bloody nose. No call.
We'll go to the line. Kobe Bryant ran over Mike Bibby.
And years later, referee Tim Duncan basically admitted the league wanted a Game 7. The Lakers won Game 6, took Game 7 in Sacramento, and the Kings' championship dreams died right there on their home floor. Shaq twisted the knife after, calling them the Sacramento Queens.
I'm not worried about the Sacramento Queens.
In the East, Jason Kidd's New Jersey Nets made a surprise run to the finals, only to get swept by the Lakers like they were background extras in the Shaq and Kobe show. Three-peat complete, Dynasty still alive. And the Kings? They're still arguing about Game 6 to this day. Chapter 4, 2003, the end of an era, the birth of a new one. By 2003, the NBA felt like it was standing at a crossroads. Michael Jordan, again, was suiting up for his final season, and this time he swore it was for real. He was 40 years old, his knees were creaking, and his Wizards were barely scraping 500. But every arena he stepped into treated him like basketball royalty. Every game was a farewell tour stop, and fans didn't care if he only scored 13, they just wanted to say they saw Jordan one last time.
Says goodbye, he's done.
Meanwhile, out west, the Lakers dynasty was starting to show cracks. Sure, they still had Shaq, they still had Kobe, but the magic that carried them to 3 straight titles was fading. The locker room was more like a Cold War. Kobe and Shaq trading passive-aggressive shots in the media.
Kobe, there's no I in team. Kobe said, I know, but there's an in me in that motherfucker.
Phil Jackson trying to play peacemaker, and the rest of the team was just hoping not to get caught in the middle. And lurking in the shadows? The San Antonio Spurs. Tim Duncan wasn't flashy, he didn't talk trash, but that season he was a silent assassin, averaging 23 and 13, blocking shots, hitting bank shots, and walking away like it was just another Tuesday. The Spurs played a brand of basketball that was the complete opposite of the Lakers. No drama, no headlines, just execution. In the playoffs, the changing of the guard finally happened. Lakers versus Spurs in the second round. No Game 7 drama this time. San Antonio took the series in 6 and sent Shaq and Kobe home early for the first time in 4 years.
Back jumpers off the Spurs benches, everybody's getting.
And then came the finals, Spurs versus Nets. Jason Kidd made his second straight trip to the big stage.
Jackson lost it on the dribble. Nets have a chance to go up 5 if that goes, and it does. Great start.
But once again, no match for Duncan's machine. The Spurs took it in 6. Duncan grabbed Finals MVP.
Duncan in traffic. What a pass. Robinson over Mutombo.
And just like that, we had a new sheriff in town. But the real shakeup of 2003 wasn't in the finals, it was in the draft. That summer, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the lottery and drafted a high school kid from Akron, Ohio, LeBron James. He came into the league with more hype than any player since Jordan. They were literally calling him the chosen one before he played an NBA game. And it wasn't just LeBron. The 2003 draft class was stacked like a Vegas buffet. Carmelo Anthony.
Select Carmelo Anthony from Syracuse University.
Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh.
Miami Heat select Dwayne Wade from Marquette University. The Toronto Raptors select Chris Bosh.
4 future Hall of Famers in the top 5 picks. The NBA didn't know it yet, but the next decade of basketball had just been set in motion. 2003 was the bridge between eras. Jordan finally stepping aside, the Lakers' empire starting to wobble, the Spurs quietly building their own, and a group of rookies about to take over the league. The 90s were gone, the 2000s had just found their kings. Chapter 5, 2004 and 2005. Chaos, collapse, and a new champion. 2004 started like any other NBA season until it didn't. The Lakers, still stacked with Shaq and Kobe, decided to turn up the drama dial. They added Karl Malone and Gary Payton, 2 Hall of Famers desperate for a ring, basically creating the NBA's first real super team. On paper, unstoppable. On the court, they looked solid. Off the court, it was a soap opera. Kobe was dealing with legal issues in Colorado. Shaq was throwing shade about contracts. Malone was reportedly flirting with Kobe's wife. And Gary Payton? Well, he was Gary Payton, talking trash to everyone.
I tell you, my age, you was the 8th man on the bench.
In the playoffs, they still fought their way to the finals. Everyone expected a quick sweep over the Detroit Pistons, but Detroit had other ideas. They were the ultimate team. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Big Ben Wallace locking down the paint like Fort Knox. The Pistons didn't just beat the Lakers, they dismantled them 4-1 in one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. Shaq was furious, Kobe was fuming, and within weeks...
This reminds me of Patrick Ewing against Villanova. Just knock it out to scare him. He didn't...
The dynasty was dead. Shaq got shipped to Miami, Phil Jackson retired, Malone walked away, Payton bounced. And if that wasn't enough chaos for 1 year, the following season gave us the moment that still defines NBA infamy. The Malice at the Palace. November 19th, 2004, Pistons versus Pacers. Just 45 seconds left in the game. Indiana's up by double digits. Ron Artest fouls Ben Wallace hard.
Wallace did. Oh, Wallace! Right at our chest. This has potential to be serious.
It looks like it's calming down until Artest decides to lie down on the scorer's table. Then, a cup of beer flies from the stands and hits him square in the chest. Artest snaps. He charges into the crowd. Stephen Jackson follows him, throwing punches.
Artest is in the stands! Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Stephen Jackson's in the fans.
Jermaine O'Neal slides in to deck a fan on the court. It's chaos. Fans swinging at players, players swinging at fans, security nowhere to be found. It's the darkest moment in NBA history, and it changed the league forever. Suspensions rained down. Artest was banned for the rest of the season. The Pacers' championship hopes were over in a single night.
The game has been called, which was the right call. The outcome obviously is over.
And while all that madness was going down, San Antonio was just being San Antonio. In 2005, the Spurs methodically chewed through the playoffs. Duncan doing Duncan things, Manu Ginobili hitting circus shots, Tony Parker slicing into the lane. In the finals, they met the defending champs, the Pistons. That series was a defensive war. Every possession felt like life or death. Game 7 came down to Tim Duncan calmly dismantling Detroit's defense, and the Spurs took their 3rd title in 7 years. 2004 gave us the fall of the Lakers, an all-time finals upset, and the Malice at the Palace. 2005 gave us the quiet, methodical rise of a dynasty that didn't need drama to dominate. 1 year was chaos, the other was control, and together they proved the NBA could flip from complete madness to total discipline in the span of 12 months. Chapter 6, 2006 and 2007. Revenge, redemption, and a young king's arrival. 2006 started with one thing on everyone's mind. Could Shaq get revenge on Kobe? The Big Diesel was in Miami now, teamed up with a young, fearless Dwayne Wade. Pat Riley had taken over the bench mid-season, and the Heat were heating up in the right time. In the East, Detroit still looked like the team to beat. In the West, the Spurs and Mavs were circling each other like heavyweights. The finals nobody predicted? Miami Heat versus Dallas Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki was on a tear. The Mavs went up 2-0 and looked like they were about to sweep the Heat out of the gym, but that's when Dwayne Wade happened. Over the next 4 games, Wade averaged 39 points for the next 4 games. attacking the rim like a man possessed, living at the free throw line and basically telling Dallas, "I'm taking this ring now." The Heat won 4 straight. Shaq got his 4th title and the ultimate last laugh on Kobe, at least for that time, and Wade had his legend cemented on a Finals MVP. But 2006 wasn't about the Finals. It was also the year Kobe Bryant reminded the league that when he's locked in, nobody can stop him. On January 22, 2006, against the Toronto Raptors, Kobe dropped 81 points.
From the line, and an 81-point game, 55 in the second half.
One man, one game, the second highest scoring performance in NBA history.
You have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history.
Then came 2007, the year the NBA met a 22-year-old kid from Akron named LeBron James for real. LeBron had already been hyped since high school, but in the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals, he delivered that game that turned him into the chosen one for real. Game 5 versus the Detroit Pistons, double overtime. LeBron scored the Cavaliers' last 25 points and 29 of their last 30, single-handedly dragging Cleveland to victory.
Defending on James. LeBron with the step and stuffs.
Flashy, it wasn't hype, it was sheer willpower. That run got the Cavs to the finals for the first time ever, and straight into a buzzsaw. The Spurs swept them 4-0. Tim Duncan famously told LeBron, "This is going to be your league in a little while, but I'm glad it's happening after I'm gone."
We're going to drive these guys, this is going to be your league in a little while, but I appreciate you giving us this year.
2007 also gave us a small but historic moment, the We Believe Warriors. An 8 seed taking out the 1 seed Dallas Mavericks in the first round. Baron Davis dunking on Andrei Krylenko so hard, it still rattles in highlight reels today.
But then also it opened up.
2006 gave Shaq his revenge, while 2007 gave LeBron his coronation. The league was changing. The old guards were still in power, but the future was knocking. Chapter 7, 2008 and 2009. Redemption arcs and full circle moments. In 2008, the NBA felt like it had a proper rivalry again. Not just team versus team, but coast versus coast, history versus history. The Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers were both back on top, and they were headed straight for each other. The Celtics had pulled off a heist the previous summer, trading for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen to team up with Paul Pierce. From day one, they were a wrecking ball, finishing with 66 wins and the top seed in the East. On the other side, Kobe Bryant was done with the rebuilding years. After his MVP season, he finally had the supporting cast to go for another title run. Pau Gasol arrived mid-season, and the Lakers were rolling through the West.
But we talked about the debut of Pau Gasol. Makes his first game as a Laker against the Nets tonight. And
first at Lamar, aggressively up to the rack, leaves it up. Gasol.
But in the finals, the league literally ran it back to the 80s. Lakers versus Celtics, and Boston brought the smoke. Game 4 gave us the biggest comeback in finals history. Down 24 points, the Celtics clawed all the way back, breaking LA's spirit in the process.
Controlled when the shot clock goes off if they stop the play. It should be a play on as long as they maintain control.
Vujacic plays on. 20 points in game 3, and he gives the Lakers a 24-point lead here in the second. Fisher on the drive, count it, and one.
By game 6, it wasn't close. Boston destroyed the Lakers by 39 points to win their 17th championship. Kevin Garnett dropped to his knees, screamed, "Anything is possible," and secured his first ring after 13 seasons. 2008 belonged to Boston.
Lefty layup, banks it in, and it's a 5-point game with 16.4 remaining.
I want to play one-on-one with Vujacic. It's time to dance. This is for all the marbles, clears the floor, and then the blow-by and finishes with the left hand.
But 2009 was about to be different. The season began without the Celtics at full power, as Garnett's knee injury derailed their repeat hopes. Meanwhile, Kobe had no interest in letting anyone else grab the crown. The Lakers dominated the West, winning 65 games, and tore through the playoffs like a team on a mission.
Come out, he's shaken up on the play, holding it up by his eye in his hand. Inside, Kobe Bryant, and a foul. Bryant goes.
In the finals, they faced the Orlando Magic. Dwight Howard, Rasheed Lewis, Hedo Turkoglu, and a young Jameer Nelson. Orlando had just upset LeBron's Cavaliers in the East, but against LA, they were outmatched. Kobe averaged 32.4 points, 7.4 assists, and 5.6 rebounds in the series, winning his first Finals MVP and, maybe more importantly, his first championship without Shaquille O'Neal.
Despite all this pretty moves from Kobe Bryant, the Orlando Magic, an excellent job sharing the ball. 6 different players have already scored. Good balance on offense, and they lead by 2.
It was redemption. It was validation. It was Kobe proving that he could carry a team all the way. But he wasn't done, because the very next year, well, it gave us one of the greatest final series ever played. Chapter 8, 2010, The Dance for a Destiny.
Yeah! We're gonna bring it in one time. Come on, Phil, Mr. 10. Come on, Mr. 10.
By 2010, the stage was set for the ultimate grudge match. The Lakers had their revenge tour in mind. The Celtics, they wanted to prove 2008 wasn't a one-hit wonder.
And the Celtics will keep their edge. Vujacic. The final minute of this NBA season.
Boston came in with a veteran-heavy roster. The Big Three still dangerous. Rajon Rondo now a full-blown star, and their defense was as suffocating as ever. The Lakers, same core, same coach, same killer instinct, but with one burning obsession: beat Boston.
And the Celtics will keep their edge. Vujacic. House fires up a 3. And Cole pushed off. So we'll come down the other way, shoot a couple of free throws with a half-minute remaining.
The finals didn't disappoint. It wasn't pretty basketball, it was war. Every possession felt like a hunt. Players were getting knocked to the floor, jerseys were being grabbed, elbows were flying. The series went the full 7 games, but before that, there was Game 5 in Boston. The Celtics took a 3-2 lead, sending the series back to LA with the Lakers on the ropes. The pressure? Sky high. Game 6, the Lakers responded with a demolition, which set up Game 7, one of the ugliest, most tense finals games in history.
Coming up on a minute remaining. Bryant looking. Artest, that's a 3. Bang!
Kobe Bryant shot 6 for 24, but pulled down 15 rebounds and willed his team through sheer stubbornness. And then, with the game hanging in the balance, it was Ron Artest who stepped up. Final score, Lakers 83, Celtics 79. Kobe dropped to his knees, pumping his fists in pure relief. It was his 5th championship, his 2nd straight Finals MVP, and most importantly, payback on the team that embarrassed him 2 years earlier.
Gets it to Pierce. Pierce turns back out. Rondo fakes, dribbles, puts up the 3. Won't go. Rebound to Gasol. Kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles.
The 2000s closed like a movie ending on a cliffhanger. Sure, the decade gave us dynasties, meltdowns, and more drama than a soap opera, but there were still loose threads dangling. A young Kevin Durant had just started making noise in Oklahoma City. LeBron James was weeks away from making the decision. And Kobe Bryant? He was still at the top of the mountain, daring anyone to knock him off. The battles of the 2000s were over, but the wars of the 2010s were just about to begin. If you're not already subscribed, now's the time, because the 2010s, that's when the league went global, the super teams went nuclear, and social media turned every beef into a headline. It's all in the video on your screen right now. Click it, and I'll see you there.